There's a specific type of silence that comes with betrayal. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's that weird quiet after the AC kicks off and your ears start ringing. That's what our apartment felt like the morning I realized my wife might be stealing from me with my own crypto keys. We live in a high-rise in Brickell, Miami, floor-to-ceiling windows, modern everything. The kind of place where influencers do dance routines in yoga pants next to overpriced marble countertops. Perfect for her. Maddie, my wife, is one of those wellness/beauty/lifestyle creators who says content is currency, like it's a fact and not a cry for help. Half the time, I don't know if I'm talking to her or her brand. Me? I'm just a guy who got into crypto early enough not to need a boss. I made decent gains trading altcoins between 2018 and 2021. Nothing insane. I'm not buying yachts, but I could comfortably retire if I wanted, which I don't. Boredom is more dangerous than volatility. So you'd think things would be fine, right? They were, until Maddie started asking questions. Not normal wife questions. Not, what's gas fees? Or can I buy a purse with Dogecoin? No. She asked, what's the difference between a hot wallet and a cold one? Then she asked what a seed phrase is. Then she asked where I store mine. Now here's the thing. Maddie doesn't care about crypto. She once called Ethereum that pixel money you stress over. So when she suddenly wanted to understand multi-sig access and hardware backups, I didn't chalk it up to curiosity. I chalked it up to strategy. I played it cool. Acted like I was thrilled she finally took an interest. Bought her a Ledger wallet. Gave her a training session with a test wallet. Watched her pretend to take notes like a high schooler faking algebra comprehension. But what she didn't know, what no one ever suspects, is that I've been burned before. Financially, emotionally, you name it. So I had safeguards. Real ones. That test wallet I gave her wasn't just for learning. I built a custom crypto wallet frontend, a dummy app that looked like MetaMask with a prettier UI. Under the hood, it was a tracker. Every keystroke, every transaction, every single attempt to copy-paste or export keys. Logged. Timestamps and IP included. And I let her play. Watched her stumble through dummy transactions. Pretend to lose coins. Pretend to recover them. She was convincing. I'll give her that. Giggled through her mistakes. Told me I was a hot nerd for helping her. Meanwhile, her real game was happening behind the scenes. Because a week later, I found it. Buried in the logs. A transfer from the wallet I gave her to an external address. One that wasn't mine. Not a test. Not a simulation. A real address with real money moving into it. She used one of my backup seed phrases, the one I accidentally showed her during a staged demo, to access a low-activity wallet I hadn't touched in months. Moved 2 Ethereum out. Not a ton, but enough to get my attention. And she didn't stop there. Over the next 3 days, she hit 2 more wallets. Not cleanly. She stumbled, miskeyed once, even triggered a duplicate TX alert I'd coded in. But she did it. Always funneling the money to the same address. I traced it. Of course I did. The address led to a mid-tier exchange. Not one of the big boys, but one with just enough laundering reputation to make me suspicious. I didn't confront her. I built a second trap. This one wasn't for money. It was for pride. Maddie had a live stream coming up, some skincare thing with a collab brand she kept hyping up like it was going to cure loneliness and taxes. She'd booked a backdrop, lighting, everything. Even had a branded mug with her initials in cursive. I upgraded the backdrop software. See, she thought she was using a pre-loaded static scene. A pastel aesthetic, some fake plants, a soft focus window with birdsong looping. What she got, live, was very different. I'll get to that. Because first, I had to test something else. The guy she was sending the money to. I played dumb and DM'd the wallet address via a throwaway account. Offered to collab on a token. Said I'd pay for promotion if he could move some ETH. He replied. Quickly. Called himself Leo. Used a default profile pic. We chatted. Casually. Then I ran a reverse image search on the headshot he sent me. It was stolen. From a finance influencer in Brazil. A verified one. Who wasn't named Leo. Who didn't know Maddie. Who sure as hell wasn't behind the wallet. She was being scammed. And she had no idea. This was no affair. No emotional betrayal. She thought she'd met a crypto-savvy fanboy with a yacht and a six-pack. Some guy who called her goddess and promised her a new Limbo and beachfront property. She was funneling stolen money to a man who didn't exist. And that's when I decided to go live. There's something uniquely poetic about revenge that writes itself. You don't even have to push. You just let the dominoes lean. That's where I was now, watching Maddie tilt toward disaster with the same calm curiosity you'd give a YouTube video titled Snake Eats Itself. After I confirmed the man she was sending ETH to was a stolen identity, I sat with it for a while. I wasn't angry. That would have been generous. I was entertained. I mean, who gets catfished while cheating and stealing from their husband, all at the same time? My wife, apparently. The irony was gorgeous. See, Maddie always prided herself on being tech-savvy. She had apps for everything: yoga tracking, ovulation syncing, sponsored hydration. She once told her followers to never trust a man who doesn't use two-factor authentication. But here she was, tossing crypto into a stranger's wallet like she was buying scratch-offs. It wasn't love. It wasn't lust. It was greed wrapped in flattery. The guy, or whoever was behind the stolen influencer photo, had played her like a harp, told her she was too brilliant to be married to a screen-glued coin hoarder, said she deserved freedom and real power, not keyboard crumbs. I found the chat logs. They were all in the tracker. Every time she opened the fake wallet app one gave her, it recorded clipboard activity. That included pasted messages. Turns out, she was copying entire flirt exchanges from her Telegram window and pasting them into notes to save inspirational lines. Yes, seriously. Lines like, "When you're with me, there won't be passwords. Just paradise." Gag. That's when I decided the live stream was the stage. The trap was set. Now I just had to wait for her to walk straight into it. Her big skincare live was on a Thursday evening, prime time for both her audience and mine. She'd hyped it for a week, called it the rebirth launch. New serum collab, new aesthetic, same vapid smile. What she didn't know was that the backdrop she'd picked, soft florals, subtle brand palette, was actually a dynamic video file, one I'd replaced the night before. Quietly, surgically. I had access to her laptop. Of course I did. She let me set up her stream settings, trusted me to handle the tech stuff. And the file I fed into the feed? It started as normal. Blurred lights, calm colors, the digital equivalent of spa music. But 2 minutes in, right as she launched into her opening monologue about clean beauty for empowered women, it shifted. The background faded. And then the transaction log appeared. In real time, a scrolling list of wallet withdrawals. Every address, every timestamp, each entry labeled with soft, white text. But there were no crypto symbols, no wallet IDs, just phrases. From husband's legacy wallet to Leo 0.8 ETH. From cold wallet backup number 2 to unknown 1.5 ETH. From joint reserve wallet to external 2.0 ETH. At first, she didn't notice. She was mid-sentence, laughing about how hyaluronic acid changed her relationship with mornings, when the chat started exploding. What's going on with your background? Is this real? Is this a hack? Wait, did she just transfer crypto? Maddie turned, saw it, paused. A flicker of confusion, then panic. Then, as she smiled. On instinct. That influencer smile, like she could Botox her way through a hostage crisis. She turned back to the camera, trying to cover. Looks like we're having some, visual issues tonight. Sorry, tech things, right? She laughed, voice cracking. Let's just stay focused on the product. But the background kept scrolling. Next came the audio. Not loud. Subtle. A male voice, distorted but clear, reading off lines. You said, he'll never notice. He barely checks that wallet. You said, it's just a few coins. He has dozens. You said, once I'm out, we'll go to the Bahamas. The feed lagged. She froze. Then the stream cut. But it was too late. Hundreds were watching, clipping, recording. Her biggest sponsors. Her ad manager. Probably her mom. I didn't even have to leak it. The audience did. Within an hour, Twitter had memes. A side-by-side of her skincare serum and a crying screenshot of her midstream. Caption, this serum makes fraud glow. Her brand's Instagram shut off comments. Her management dropped her the next morning. A press email leaked. Due to breach of professional ethics, we are parting ways. But the best part? I drained her crypto wallet. All of it. Everything she thought she'd stolen? Gone. Moved into a new cold wallet under a shell account. Couldn't trace it. Couldn't reverse it. She texted me once that night. What did you do? I replied. You told Leo the first wouldn't notice. You were wrong. She didn't respond. But the fallout kept coming. An old Reddit post from her alt account resurfaced. Something about marrying down for stability. People found her wedding photos. One comment read, "She stole crypto from her husband for a scammer pretending to be an Instagram model." Another said, "He should start a podcast." Tempting. But no, this one was better served cold. There's something oddly meditative about watching someone squirm in real time, not from pain, but from realization. That slow dawning dread that creeps in when the consequences start rolling downhill and they realize the brakes are out. That's what Maddie was living now. After the live stream imploded, everything changed. Fast. First came the sponsors. Gone. Then the affiliate links. Frozen. Her inbox went from collab opportunity, spam to a graveyard of apologies and final payout statements. The serum brand, the one she claimed would revolutionize hydration, issued a damage control statement on Twitter. "We do not condone financial impropriety or unethical behavior from our brand partners." Oof. Next came the fans. Well, ex-fans. They turned faster than crypto in a bear market. Screenshots flew. TikToks exploded. Some girl with 40K followers made a dramatic reenactment of Maddie's stream, playing both parts, of course. One dressed as Maddie, the other as Leo. Her caption, "Crypto Karen gets rugged by karma." By the end of that weekend, Maddie's face wasn't glowing with sponsored light filters. It was plastered across commentary videos with titles like, "She stole from her husband," and got catfished. Poetic. I didn't reach out. Didn't taunt her. Didn't need to. I'd done my part. Besides, the internet was doing all the heavy lifting. Her DMs were nuked. Her Twitter, locked. Her branded TikTok, quiet since the incident. But not deleted. She left it up like some kind of digital tombstone. Monday morning, I got an email from a reporter. Small tech media site. Wanted to know if I was available for comment regarding the cold wallet exploit featured in the viral influencer livestream. I smiled and hit archive. Later that day, I spotted Maddie in the building lobby. First time I'd seen her in person since the livestream. She didn't look like the Maddie from her page. No lashes. No gloss. Just a sweatshirt, sunglasses, and that slow, uncertain gait of someone who doesn't know what door still opens for them. She stopped when she saw me. Didn't speak. Just stared. I nodded, polite, detached, and walked past her toward the elevators. 3 hours later, she sent a text. "You win." I didn't respond. Because this wasn't about winning. It was about truth. See, Maddie built her brand on fiction. Every part of her image was curated. The lighting, the phrasing, the candid bloopers she re-recorded 10 times. Her audience thought they knew her. But what they really knew was a soft-spoken scam artist wrapped in clean aesthetics. And now? Now they saw what I saw. And it kept getting better. Because remember Leo? The catfish? He came back. Sort of. One of the Reddit sleuths who'd been following the livestream fiasco traced the original ETH address to a now-dead scam ring forum, a private Telegram group used by romance fraudsters to launder crypto through willing girlfriends. Apparently, Maddie wasn't special, just another mark. And the man behind the scam? Turns out, he'd stolen the identity of a Brazilian crypto coach with a blue checkmark, one who actually posted a video about it after fans kept tagging him in memes. "I don't know this woman," he said, sipping a coconut drink poolside. "But if she sent money, it wasn't to me." It got 600,000 views. By Thursday, Maddie was a full-blown cautionary tale. One YouTuber called her the female FTX. Another used her for the thumbnail of a video titled, "Why You Never Trust People with Ring Lights." But here's the part that hit differently. She showed up at our apartment again. This time she knocked. Didn't buzz. Didn't sneak in with her key, which still worked, by the way. I hadn't changed the locks. She didn't have the courage to use it. I opened the door. She looked deflated. Not sad. Not furious. Just hollow. "Can I come in?" she asked. I let her. Why not? The war was over. I'd already won. No sense in pretending otherwise. She sat on the couch like it might reject her. "I didn't mean to not like that," she started. I said nothing. I just thought. He wasn't supposed to be a scammer. "I thought we were." She stopped. Laughed a little. God, I don't even know what I thought. I let the silence hang. Heavy. Intentionally uncomfortable. "You tracked everything, didn't you?" she asked. I nodded. "And the stream?" I tilted my head. She sighed. "You know, For a while I thought you didn't notice anything. That you were just too into your little crypto charts to care. I smirked. You should have known better. She didn't cry. I almost respected her for that. Instead, she pulled a small envelope from her hoodie pocket. This is the rest, she said. The backup phrase for the joint wallet. I didn't touch it. Not even once. I took it, opened it, scanned it. Real. Untouched. Not that I needed it. I'd already changed the key and moved everything the moment the first red flag hit. But the gesture? That was interesting. She stood up. Don't worry. I won't be back. Just needed to say it out loud. I followed her to the door. You know, I said, he didn't just scam you. He scammed 6 other influencers. She paused. I added, there's a Reddit thread about it. You're not even the top post. She laughed once, bitter, tired, then left. And that was it. Or so I thought. Because the next day, I got an email. Subject line, speaking opportunity, Web3 security panel. Turns out, someone at a fintech event had seen the stream. Had no idea who I was, but loved the real-time demonstration of security risk exposure and user deception. They wanted me to speak on how I exposed a real-world wallet scam in the wild. For money. Life's funny like that. Revenge is never as satisfying as you expect. Not because it doesn't work. It works just fine. But because once the fire dies down, you're just standing there in the ash wondering what else might still be flammable. After Maddie left that last envelope, the symbolic gesture of honesty, I expected that to be the final scene. Curtains closed. Lesson learned. But the thing about public disasters is they don't stay neatly contained. Especially not when the internet decides you're its next favorite morality play. And now? Now I was being asked to give a TED-style talk. Seriously, the fintech invite wasn't a joke. A mid-sized conference in Austin wanted me on a Web3 security panel to discuss trust dynamics in decentralized environments, which is just a fancy way of saying, tell us how you outwitted your influencer wife using code and common sense. I didn't say yes immediately. I had to think about it. Part of me wanted to vanish back into low-profile crypto trades and iced coffee. But another part, the colder, curious part, wondered how far this story could travel if I just kept letting it roll. So I flew to Austin. Day of the event, I walked on stage in jeans and a black button-down, surrounded by dudes in blazers who looked like they practiced startup pitches in the mirror. The moderator gave me an intro that was half professional, half tabloid tease. Our next guest exposed a personal wallet breach during a viral live stream, using nothing but a fake UI and some smart logging. Please welcome Brian Wells. The crowd clapped like I was Batman. I gave them the cleaned-up version. No Maddie's name. No marriage drama. Just a case study in human behavior and the consequences of underestimated backdoors. They ate it up. Asked questions. Took notes. One guy from a wallet startup slipped me his card and said, "You ever think about doing this full-time?" Afterwards, at the networking mixer, people kept coming up to me, not about the tech, about the story. A woman from a VC firm asked, was she mad? I shrugged. She was surprised. That's worse. One guy in a hoodie leaned in like he was asking about nuclear codes. Did she know the stream was still live? Nope. He nodded like I'd given him a religious awakening. By the time I flew back to Miami, I had 20 LinkedIn invites and 2 offers to consult on fraud-resistant app interfaces. Turns out, revenge is lucrative if you code it cleanly enough. But while I was rising from the wreckage with a new professional glow, Maddie was still evaporating. I didn't stalk her socials. Didn't have to. Mutuals sent me screenshots unprompted. Friends of friends who couldn't help but rubberneck. One DM said, "Bro, your ex is in some new wellness retreat. Rebranding." I checked the link. She'd launched a side account at Mads from scratch. Tagline, healing from digital wounds. Finding my truth. Oh God. The feed was a graveyard of pastel quotes and vague captions. Stuff like, sometimes the worst thing you lose is the version of yourself that trusted too easily. And I gave pieces of myself to people who only wanted passwords. I almost felt bad. Almost. What struck me most was how quickly she pivoted from influencer to survivor. Not legally, no lawsuits, no arrests. But socially, she knew how to frame her collapse as a phoenix moment. To the average doom-scrolling user, she wasn't a fraud. She was betrayed by a man she trusted. Cute twist. Of course, she never named me. Just hinted. But I knew the strategy. Recast the scam as victimhood. Keep your face visible, but change the lens. Make it about healing. The internet loves a rebrand. I let it ride. What else could I do? But then something new hit the radar. One of the wallet addresses she'd used, the one she funneled funds to, popped back up. Someone was moving ETH again. Small amounts. Just enough to ping alerts I'd set up back during the trap phase. The transactions didn't go to Leo. They were going to a new exchange. Offshore. One known for gray market NFT laundering. Maddie was still in the game. Only now, she was smarter. Using a new account. A fresh identity. Possibly even routing through VPNs and MetaMask proxies. But she wasn't out. She wasn't humbled. She was adapting. I couldn't prove it was her. Not directly. But the behavior pattern? Too familiar. Same rhythm. Same test amounts. Same exact 7-minute intervals between coin swaps. Something she used to do when pretending to study crypto late at night. And the address? It linked back to a wallet labeled MFS_dev. MFSC. Mads from scratch. Unbelievable. She was building her own crypto project. I dug a little deeper. Domain registered 2 weeks ago. Smart contract on testnet. The pitch? A token for healing and female-led decentralization. I choked on my drink. She was turning her scam into a brand. That was the moment I realized the story wasn't over. She wasn't ruined. She was evolving. And if there's one thing I've learned about Maddie, it's this. She doesn't go away. She pivots. She disguises. She absorbs her own scandals like PR judo. So I did something I hadn't planned to. I built a tracker. Not the kind she'd see. Not one tied to wallets. A different kind. One that pinged every time her name, her new handle, or her crypto dev tag showed up on-chain, on GitHub, or in a known Telegram group. I was done playing defense. This was recon. Because if she was going to try again, and she would, I'd be there first. Not to warn anyone. Not to stop her. Just to be the ghost in the server rack. The bug in her system. Watching. Waiting. Documenting. Because sometimes, the only thing better than revenge is knowing your story still scares them into checking every camera twice. There's a unique kind of thrill in watching someone try to build an empire on the same ashes they choked on. That's what Maddie was doing. Crawling out of her influencer wreckage like a phoenix with Wi-Fi and branding consultants. Only this time, she wasn't selling serums. She was selling salvation. Through crypto. Her project was called Solara. Tagline. Decentralized wellness. Empowered finance. Female future. God help us. I found the pitch deck. Half of it was fluff, pastel gradients, buzzwords like compassion protocol and empathy staking. I almost admired the gall. It was like Goop had a baby with a blockchain and left it unsupervised on Instagram. But underneath the glittery jargon was something darker. Real money was moving. Early wallets were funding dev expenses. A test token was listed on a sidechain DEX. They even had a roadmap. Laughable, yes, but functional. Q1, token airdrop. Q2, NFT meditations. Q3, DAO for restorative justice investing. I couldn't decide if I was impressed or nauseous. More importantly, people were buying in. Small-time investors. Wellness influencers. A couple of wellness-focused YouTubers even mentioned it in passing, calling it a healing space for those who've been burned by traditional finance. The irony was weapons grade. I watched it all through the dashboard I built. A custom pulse tracker logging every mention of Solara, MFS_dev, and a few keywords from her wallet behavior. It pinged every hour now. Maddie was back in motion. Not just alive, thriving. But she didn't know I was there. That was the power. She'd rebranded as the victim. Turned her collapse into a marketing campaign. I had no interest in stopping her. I was going to document her. And expose her again, at scale. So I started collecting. Not just wallet logs. Emails. Discord chats. Telegram DMs from her dev team. I got into their private beta group under a fake handle. Zoe Chang. Claimed to be a wellness investor interested in ESG tokens and feminist blockchain orgs. They let me in immediately. Her co-founder? A girl named Celine, former yoga teacher turned DAO consultant. She did Instagram live meditations where she whispered things like, breathe through your imposter syndrome. Exhale the fiat energy. I almost threw my laptop. But they were useful. The Solara Discord was a goldmine. Half-baked ideas. Smart contract bugs. Tokenomics so wobbly it made Terra Luna look stable. They had no real compliance plan. No SEC oversight. Just vibes and Canva decks. And then Maddie slipped. One night, during a dev stream, a casual, unscheduled AMA, she got cocky. Someone asked about her past. The user, D3Con0N, wrote, "Is it true you were the girl from the wallet scandal stream?" Her face froze, just for a second. Then she smiled. "I was," she said. "But I was set up." The chat exploded. Half the viewers threw hearts. The other half asked for receipts. Maddie continued. "I trusted the wrong person," she said, soft voice, calm eyes. "My former partner used technology to gaslight and discredit me. He took private information and made it public in front of thousands. I survived it, and I created Solara for others like me." And just like that, she weaponized the trauma. I watched the clip 3 times. She was good. No tears. No anger. Just serene victimhood, gently massaged into a marketing funnel. It was almost genius. Except it wasn't true. I had the receipts. The real logs. The transfers. The tracker. Her Telegram backups. All of it. So I started writing. Not a podcast this time. A white paper, titled, "The Solara Illusion, Case Study of a Brand-Built Blockchain Scam." It was written in academic language. Cool. Detached. Clinical. No rants. Just facts. Wallet addresses. Timestamped logs. Transaction comparisons. Metadata from the livestream debacle. Proof of fraud. Misappropriation of digital assets. Identity laundering. I published it on GitHub under a burner name. And then I leaked it. First to one of the YouTubers who had mentioned Solara. Then to a crypto security watchdog group. Then to a subreddit dedicated to rug pulls. Just a little breadcrumb trail. By the weekend, Solara was trending. Not in a good way. Tweets started flying. Is hashtag Solara token the next BitConnect with lipstick? So the founder staged her own live stream betrayal and blamed her ex? I think I just bought empathy coins from a scammer. The white paper went semi-viral. A couple thousand shares. A niche podcast episode. Maddie's DMs. Closed again. Discord? Quiet. Their Solara airdrop was delayed due to platform upgrades, which everyone knew meant panic mode. But I wasn't finished. I uploaded a video. Not to YouTube. Just a static archive. Titled, Truth Logs. It opened with Maddie's live stream. The background glitching. The scrolling wallet data. Her frozen smile. Then a voiceover. Mine. Calm. Methodical. This is the moment she realized the fraud wasn't private anymore. Cut to transaction logs. Clipboard timestamps. Screenshots of her sending ETH to Leo's fake address. The woman who now claims to empower victims once used stolen credentials to fund a catfish. And now, she's repackaged the wreckage into a token. Last frame, Solara's pitch deck. Overlaid with her quote. I was set up. I didn't ask for attention. I just waited. And it came. Maddie posted a response 2 days later. A long, vague notes app screenshot about being targeted again, about narrative manipulation and toxic tech masculinity. The comments didn't buy it. Because this time, the evidence didn't scroll behind her like a livestream ghost. This time, it hit first. And this time, there was no Leo to blame. Just the woman in the mirror. There's a quiet moment when everything finally collapses in the public eye, when the spectacle ends and the lights dim, and you realize your hands are still trembling. That's where I watched Maddie's empire fall apart. Not with fireworks, but with a slow exodus, the kind of silence that screams louder than any tweet storm. After posting the white paper and video archive, I stepped back. I didn't need to follow up with tweets or memes. The data spoke. Solara's smart contract was now being audited and red flagged as a potential rug pull. Discord users were calling it a case study in emotional manipulation. The hashtag Solara scam started trending among crypto watchdogs. Chat logs flooded with investors panicking about losing their healing tokens. Ember. Silence. Obsession. Maddie's DMs started blowing up. Legal teams, journalists, angry small investors who thought they were buying a movement. I watched from the silent comfort of my dashboard, where mentions, token transfers, GitHub stars, everything was still chronologically logged. I found a community post, How to Recover from a Scam, a guide, with screenshots of her wellness quotes plastered across reaction GIFs. The irony wasn't lost on me. It haunted her. She went dark. 2 days after the white paper dropped, her AMA stream was abruptly taken down. No announcements, just a muted Zoom feed, and then nothing. Her team dismantled the website. Her token contract was frozen. Not by code, but by investor fear. Her social presence retreated so far into private mode. Healing became silence. That's when she reached out, again. This time, via email. Subject line: please read. No opener. Just a draft of her canceled AMA, the one not for Solara, but for a restorative justice video. It was written, not spoken, so it felt cold and rehearsed. She wrote, I once believed trust could be rebuilt with transparency. I was wrong. What I built wasn't empowerment. It was manipulation. I hurt people. I betrayed a narrative and rewrote it for profit. I apologize to anyone who believed and to myself. If I could fix this, I would. That part felt real. The pain lined every word. Not the performative, I'm a victim tone. This was remorse. Quiet, tense, contrite. But there was more. She included attachments, refund spreadsheets, emails to early investors offering partial reimbursement, documentation to a nonprofit that taught crypto literacy to women, and a promise that they weren't asking for donations. Just healing. I swallowed. Because here's what split me. I didn't know if it was real or just the next rebrand. I didn't know if Maddie was rebuilding or spinning. Hell, I didn't even know if she'd stumbled into some wound that needed fixing rather than spun into a martyr narrative again. Part of me felt hooked. I wanted to believe. But another part, the part that had built the trap, knew better. I'd seen how fast she could switch frames. How she cast herself as a survivor after the livestream. How quickly she'd built Solara from the ashes. Told herself and others it was transparent. Empowering. It was a tactic. Always. But still, the sincerity stung. There was vulnerability in the data, line breaks, tear emojis in the text, typos even. It didn't look polished. It looked like a wounded animal. I'd learned not to trust instincts, so I tested it. I replied to her email with a neutral line. Glad you're doing that. How about a Skype call? She said yes. We scheduled. I didn't feel anticipation. Didn't feel victory. I felt curiosity. And a disturbing flicker of something that felt like hope. The call day came. She appeared, hair tied back, no makeup, eyes longer in the frame. She didn't smile. Didn't start with anger. Just looked at me and said, if I could go back, I'd do things differently. Her voice cracked. Even on Zoom, I saw her tremble. I asked one question. Are you doing this because you feel responsible? Or because you want redemption? She exhaled. Said it wasn't about branding. It was about truth. About paying back. It was because I want to live with my reflection again. I didn't know how to respond. A pause so dense, you could cut it with reverse transactions. Then I said, I'll give you two things. First, access to my tracker, proof of everything. You can write the ledger, personally. But second, no podcasts, no videos. Just pay it back. Quietly. She nodded. We ended the call. Afterwards, I updated the tracker. It synced her new refund wallet. And I sent her access. No press release. No video update. Just an email. It's yours now. She replied. Thank you. Silence hung after that. Real silence. Like snow after a storm. Weeks passed. Crypto markets danced. Solara tokens depegged. Wallets emptied. Investors got small refunds. Some donated to her literacy cause. Some dropped out. Some raged again. She never said more. No, I'm back tweet. No announcement of healing. She just existed. And me? I went back to trading. To telling panels once in a while. The tracker stayed active. An archive of every phase of distortion she passed through. I got my piece. But I learned something weird about revenge. It isn't about paying someone back. It's not even about destruction. It's about interruption. I interrupted her story arc, denied her a smooth rebrand. Made redemption harder. But I also offered a path where she owned the narrative with no camera angles. Because there's power in that. Pause. Then I closed the dashboard. Lights off. And walked away. The end. Subscribe to the channel